So today I am going up the rig on Ptarmigan, first time up the rig, and Mark is going to teach me how to do a basic rig check. I'm absolutely wetting myself. Okay, so at the moment Mark's putting up the safety lines, is that right?
Right? Yep, we're putting safety lines up, all the rest lines, so that if anything goes wrong, we've got a safety.
Which
Yeah, which is not
it's
gonna
good
happen.
for me.
It's not going to happen. So where are you?
Does make me feel slightly more confident though.
Well, that's good. So we don't use the tie lasters or the splices. We know they're safe, but better to work off a knot than off a splice. So we'll always clip it to the halyards here. The other halyards. Ready?
And how often would you say crew should do like a basic rig check then on a rig like this?
Depending on the usage of the boat, definitely before any long passages are done, and definitely after.
Yeah.
Particularly if the boat's been through any bad weather. It should be part of a monthly kind of
Maintenance.
maintenance of the boat. You know, it needs to be kept clean. Things deteriorate if they're not clean, so it makes sense to just have it as part of a cleaning schedule.
Yeah.
What I do when I go up in a chair is stop at the first area. I tend to go up slowly and look at bits as we go along. And the first area that you really can't see from the deck is just here, top of the mainsail, where all the halyards go into the rig. And we're trying to make sure that everything is attached properly and that the halyards themselves are in reasonably good condition. We don't see any particularly bad wear. Again, around the back then, looking at the mainsail, same thing, we're making sure everything's secure, that we don't see any obvious damage. In the case of this boat, they've told me that they did have a problem with one of these on the way back, and you'll see the evidence of that a bit further up. But the other thing I generally do when I'm at this point is I look up the rig to see if it's straight, because not always when we first get to a boat the rig's straight, and that's one of the things we can correct to make it sound a bit better. So yeah, have a look around this side, looking at the mast as well, make sure that the spar itself is in good condition, because carbon can damage, aluminium welds can crack, things like that. So we need to keep an eye on the overall health of the tube as well. All right. One thing I've said on this boat for years is that this lazy jack system is looking a bit tired, and you can see where the plastic thimbles are in the ropes there. They're worn out. So that's the kind of thing that I'd flag up. It's getting to the end of its life. It's been on the boat a long time, so when the boat gets around to replacing things, that should be pretty high up the list. All right, should we go a bit further up?
Let's go up.
Go a bit further up. You happy to go first?
Yep.
Okay. Tracks that the mainsail goes up. It's good to get a good look along the length of these. There's a lot of screws that could work loose, or if there's evidence of scraping or scratching in the anodizing, it suggests there might be something wrong with the cars that move up and down. So I will sort of stop here and have a bit of a look, because this is an early area where you see damage. All right, Wendell. And now, first spreader. This is a big structural area. This is holding This is helping hold the rig up and keep it straight. So big structural reinforcement here in the carbon. So we're looking at that area, looking for any evidence of cracks or anything changing, along with checking the metalwork of the rigging is all still looking secure, and nothing seems to be winding out or loose or anything like that. So in these areas we're looking for stress fracturing. See, there's a small mark here, but would appear to be in the surface only. When did we both go up just a little bit? So another big structural area. This is where this piece of rigging, this piece of rigging, this piece of rigging all meet, and this device, this unit assembly here, holds it all together. So this comes in from both sides of the spreader and locks in place. So we want to make sure that nothing's changing. So I'm looking around here. We see a little bit of rust, see a little bit of blistering in the paint, but this paintwork is original, so not surprising. A little bit of rust like this, we don't mind seeing that, but that's another part of crew maintenance, is making sure that things like this get cleaned up fairly regularly. And this is in much better condition than it once was, so the guys are doing pretty good maintenance on here now.
As you said, like once a month they'd probably come up here, would they?
I'd like to see it. It's not necessarily realistic in the middle of the season, because you know there's charters and owners' needs.
Busy.
But it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. You know, there's always time. The crew need time off, but the boat needs maintaining. If it's a heavily run boat, then time has to be taken.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, basically looking at all of this, making sure things are secure. This is the adjuster for this piece of rigging, and in as much needs to be secured. So making sure it's still there and everything feels relatively normal. Again, looking at the spreader, same thing, looking for any funny little marks. That's a funny little mark right there. We'll take a photo of that. In this area of the spreader, it's in compression. So everything is pushing in. There's no load pulling out this way. So this could just be a little bit of flexing from bad weather. It's probably a surface crack only, but what I'm going to do is just put a little cross at each end. So can I just see a little bit better?
Sorry.
It's just a shadow. If you roll, no, okay. There's the end of the crack there. And I'm going to put, what's today? So a little mark there, and then we can keep an eye on that. The crew can look at that and say, okay, it's extending, or it's still the same.
Right.
That can't be seen from the deck, so it's not going to upset anyone. But it's good to keep a track on things like that.
Yeah.
Let's get a quick photo. So we're pretty good here. The other thing we'll check on a spreader is that all of the fittings are secure, so like that air horn's not going to fall off and that antenna's not going to fall off. Okay, I'm going to swing back in. Do you want help? You're going to come around the front
Yeah,
again.
I'm going to come around that way. I'm good.
You right?
Yep. I think.
You need to follow me in this. This kind of thing, marks on the front edge of the spreader, is pretty common from all the halyards.
Yeah.
If there's an exceptional piece, area of damage, then it's worth noting. A little bit of chafe is normal.
Wear and tear.
Yeah, it's just normal wear and tear. Particularly if a boat does race, then you'll find that everything accelerates a little bit more. The damage is a bit more severe and a bit more frequent. Oops, sorry.